Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to make a quick video lesson for you to go over the ALEKS assignment called Cube Roots that we did for our Zoom sessions today. If you were not available to make those, this is a chance for you to watch and make sure you get the information needed to solve these problems. Remember, it's 15 questions. You have examples, and you may look those up at any time. So I'm going to go over only 3 questions because everything else is just extra practice on the same topic. So I didn't feel like there's a need to have like a big, long, extended video with this. Okay, so for this first question, where you're evaluating the cube root of a number, you have 2 ways that you can solve that. You can use a calculator and take your cube root. You also are more than welcome to use your cube root note sheets. So how I would do it would be to pull that up. What I would do is I would look and see, okay, is the cube root of 27 a perfect cube? And if it is, then I don't need to worry about using a calculator because I can find that. So I'd pull that up and I would look through, let's see, 1, 8, 27, boom. And when I want the cube root of 27, I know my answer is 3. So I would make sure that when I did this, I'll come up here, I'd enter 3, and then the last thing that I would do before I moved on with anything would be check my answer just by hitting check. And it'll tell you if you have it right or wrong. If you have it wrong, try another. One thing to also remember is I've included example problems. So please make sure that you are reading the example problem, okay? So it shows you a different one, the cube root of 8, and it thinks about that. One other thing, if you notice that my cursor is just like a regular mouse cursor, if you slide it around and you get over top of one of these things where it turns into like a finger, you can click on that and there's more information for you, okay? So that's how you would do questions 1 and 2, and a few of the other ones back here on the back end. Moving forward to question 3. Question 3, solve 216 is equal to v to the third, where v is a real number. Simplify your answer as much as possible. If there's more than one solution, separate them with commas. This is just like in the square root problem we did a couple weeks ago. The only difference being, if you remember with square roots, we had to think about if our exponent was a 2, we had to have both a positive and negative number for our answer. But if you remember from our notes the other day, that if you have a positive cube root, your answer will always be positive. And if you have a negative cube root, your answer is always negative. So in this particular problem, where you're asked what number multiplied by itself 3 times gives you 216, you're only going to have one solution. Okay? Again, you have 2 options. Use your perfect cube sheet, use a calculator. Okay? I would use my perfect cube sheet, bring that back up, and I would look for, I believe we were doing 216. Let me double check that. 216, yes it is. So I need that to be, yes. So the cube root of 216 is 6, and so I'll bring that up. I'll enter 6, and again, I will check my answer. Okay, I'm good to go on that one. All right, the last one that I'm going to do with you guys is number 5. Okay. Find the side length of a cube with a volume of 250 yards cubed. If necessary, round your answer to the nearest 10. All right. On this problem, you have to remember that when you're talking about a cube, you're talking about a 3-dimensional shape that has squares that are all the same size. Okay? I'm going to pull the example up because I feel like they can kind of give you a better visual. Okay? So here's the same kind of problem, except that they're dealing with 831 centimeters. What we have to remember is that the volume of a cube is found by multiplying the same side length 3 times. So the volume of a cube is equal to this length to the 3rd power. So what you need to do then is essentially take the cubic root of the volume. Now, the difference in this problem is that we have 250. Well, you can do it one of 2 ways. You can look to see if it's a perfect cube. Okay, let's do that. Is it a perfect cube? 250, 125, 216, 343. So it's not. It's not a perfect cube. So now, Mr. Stoker, what do I do? Now's where you grab the calculator. You simply evaluate it. Here's the cube root. The number is 250 equals 6.299605249.5. Let's see. Oh, round your answer to the nearest tenth. Okay, so now I have to round. Remember, we're talking about the tenth, not the 10, the tenth, the decimal point after, or the first digit after the decimal point. So we're looking at 2. And then you remember when you're rounding to the nearest tenth, what you do is you look to the number 1 to the right of it. So now I'm looking at the number 9, and now I have to decide, what do I do with my 2? Do I keep it at 2? Do I round it up to 3? Well, I look at the number to the right, and then I ask myself this. Is it between 0 and 4 or 5 and 9? Because if this number is between 0 and 4, I would keep the 2 the same. If it's between 5 and 9, I round it up by adding 1 to the value. This is between 5 and 9, so I need to add 1 to 2. So I think my answer should be 6.3 yards. And what am I going to do? You guessed it. I'm going to check my answer. I check, and it's correct. All right. The last bit, just let me brief you on these, but I'm not going to do them because you've already done these problems before. They're just kind of review. 12 deals with square roots, not cube roots. So square root. You might want to use your interactive notebook or use, whatever you can to figure out a square root. 13 is square root. 14 is a square root type problem. And 15 is a square root type problem. So 12 through 15 are square root problems, but we've already done those before, so you know how to do them. This assignment has multiple opportunities to get the best score possible, and each question has different attempts. And again, every question has an example. So if you don't remember how to solve it, open up that example right there and read it. It'll show you how to do the problem. I know what you're saying.
But Mr. Stoker, this one says 36 and this says 64.
Right. They're showing you how to solve it, not how to get the answer on the page. Okay, what we want you to learn how to do is solve problems. So this cube root assignment, I've set a due date for Friday. So make sure that you get this done and submit it. And you can watch this video as many times as you need to figure out how to solve questions 1, 3, and 5. And that will set you up to be able to do everything that I haven't done here. And then 12 through 15 we've already done. These are just refresher problems. So sorry if you didn't make it to Zoom today. Hope you have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Thank you.